Hello ladies and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop New York Season 9. Yes, it's been 9 seasons. Episode 4, Triggers. So this episode centered around primarily people like, it starts off with Mano. And Mano has his girlfriend Maggie, and they're at the house, they're just playing around. Mano's talking about how, well, it's a two-pronged thing. He's talking about his career, but he's mainly talking about Maggie and Julius. Julius is Maggie's brother, who he has diabetes. I think he's legally blind. At this point, he may actually be blind. Pretty much, he's confined to a wheelchair. So it's a lot. But they go and dive deeper into the relationship of Maggie and Mano, and the problem there is their relationship is good, but due to her being shot at one of his concerts in 2016, I think it was May 2016, she has severe PTSD. Just going outside, period, going to anywhere that's remotely crowded is too much for her, and she definitely didn't go back to the scene of where she was shot. And that's when Yandy comes along, and Yandy's talking to her about everything, and she's just reiterating everything that I'm saying and how it's really rough. But then Sin comes with Lex, baby Lex, and Joe's there, but Joe's there to talk to Mano. And baby Lex, it was cute. For a moment, baby Lex, he almost sounded like he was going to cry because his father was going away. But he just had a moment. That's all it was. Great baby. Sin is there to essentially listen. And their conversation didn't really get too deep. The conversation with Joe and Mano was deeper, because Mano was saying how he feels very guilty. He feels very guilty about his girl getting shot, and you know, everything that happened afterwards with her having severe PTSD, and he knows what he wants to do and what he needs to do, but it doesn't mean that it's going to just go and quickly fix everything. Then we see Jacquet. Safari is doing this barbecue. I guess this impromptu barbecue. There wasn't a whole lot of people from what I was seeing. I said the people weren't really like, why are we faking the funk? People weren't really dancing like that, at least from what we were seeing. They were definitely talking, but aside from that, I'm just looking at it like, really? They can't even, like, what is that? What is that? Anyway, Jacquet and Cayenne are supposed to be broken up, but then we see online, there's a picture of Jacquet and Cayenne in, and we don't know how recent the picture is, so now it makes it seem like, what's going on over there? Jacquet's also making it seem like, well, you know, just trying to see what's good over there. Again, we're not fully sure of what's the full situation, and Jacquet's kind of saying his side, but we're only getting one side. I guess this party was going on, or it started later on in the day, because guess who else was invited? Cayenne was invited, and she came during the night. It's like, hey, what's up, Guan? How you doing? Anyway, Safari there just looking like, all right, and action, go for it, talk. So now Nia Lee was there, and they're all just kind of spectating. We know how Cayenne talks. Cayenne talks in story. She's an illustrator when she talks. She doesn't just talk to talk. She's one of those that's like, you know, there's a forest and there's leaves on the trees because it's not winter time and it's not fall. That's how Cayenne talks. But they're trying to see if they can still be cool. And when I say they, I mean Jacquet and Cayenne. Do we think it's going to happen? No, especially with Cayenne saying that she doesn't understand how Safari is okay with you when you were talking behind his back for more than one reason. She says Jacquet is very two-faced. He's very nice and polite in front of you, very accommodating, very loving, but as soon as you turn your back, he'll go and talk about you like a dog and pretend like it never happened. I said, That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. But for her point, she's just letting it be known that you can't trust him. You can't trust this guy. And Jacquet even said that he wrote Safari's part in the song. I'm thinking, is that the biggest deal? Is that what we're doing? Do we really care that much? No. Mano met up with, dang it, is it Danny Cruz? No, Danny Garcia. Who's Danny Cruz? I have no idea where that name came from. Danny Garcia, he is a boxer, and Danny Cruz has to be something in sports. Anyway, and at first I thought, is this someone that Mano is managing? But this guy, Danny Garcia, gets a lot of money. But you never know. They can definitely do some partnership. But they're just talking about how they talk about Mano's girl actually again and what happened with her, and he's just getting advice from a comrade. Cool. Yandy went to ShopRite and bought some stuff so that she can go to the beach with her girls, and the person that she invited was Maggie, and Maggie was fine with it because it was a beach. It was a beach, it wasn't on a crowded day, and something casual. Yandy was looking at Maggie's leg and realized, oh wait, what's that mark? I'm thinking, she got shot in the leg! What are you talking about? What's that mark? That was purely for camera. That had to have been for the cameras. So then Maggie tells a story and how the bullet's still in her leg and how she has this lump because of it and all of that and the scar over here. It's just a lot. Juju is there, and Juju's fine that Maggie's there. Maggie seems very cool. Great. But then we get to who else was invited. Anais is there, and Juju is not thrilled. She's not happy, and that's when Yandy goes and runs away and says, "Oh, okay, well we're gonna go over here." I'm thinking, Yandy, you don't want any smoke with Juju. You don't. They brought back the commercial within the show concept to promote Burlington Factory again. I said, okay, get your money. And Anais comes in peace. She has one of her signature wigs and outfits and whatnot, but she comes in peace. And Anais apologizes. And it's a real apology. She's like, I'm sorry that I came at you with that energy. It was wrong. You didn't deserve it. I was trying to defend my friend, but now I fully understand that I shouldn't have gone that route or even done that, because here's the thing, Juju. And Juju says, you know what, before we move forward, I accept your apology. I want to make sure you know that, because the fact that I didn't have to drag it out of you, you just gave it willy-nilly, I appreciate that. Okay, continue. She says, all right. Now, Johnathan had this big meetup with me, Kimbella, Sin was there, but the issues that he had was with Kimbella and I, and you. And it was just weird because it seemed like he was putting the blame on everyone else, except for himself. So I don't understand what he was again talking about you and using the word secretive and all of that. And it irked Juju, but Juju is grown. So she's not going to go and just take this woman who she just had an argument with's word for it. She's going to talk to Johnathan, her friend, her actual friend, and see what really happened. Great. Perfect. Now, Cayenne meets up on a separate occasion with Safari and Nia Lee, because Cayenne wants to say her side, and she goes and she actually doesn't even talk about the song, because I guess she had more than one thing on Jacquet. She tells Safari that, because she said, I know both of you are his friend, I understand that, I just want to say my side. And they said, okay, go for it. That's when she says, Jacquet, very two-faced, and he's very opportunistic. And in this case, he decided to go and say, when Safari got robbed, Jacquet supposedly said that he felt like Safari did it as an insurance stunt so that he can get the money back for the jewelry he bought. I'm thinking, a lot of people on social media said that. So was Jacquet reading that off? or did Jacquay feel like, oh, Safari's a scammer? Because that's two very different things. And that's very weird and random. And a guy isn't normally just going to go and say something like that. That's very, So that's why everyone's looking at her like, that's not just something random. That is definitely not something random. I don't know Jacquay well enough to know if he would say something like that. What I do know is he's not in a good place with Cayenne. So I could believe that he said something and Cayenne said, oh, okay, let me just store that in the memory banks until it's needed. Now next we see Maggie. Maggie is at the house with her brother as well as Mano. And Mano wants to bring Maggie to to Danny Garcia's boxing match at the Barclays, which is a big arena. So she's looking at this like, okay. She reluctantly says okay, because she knows that he's doing it from a good place and that she'll be safe there. But she's still very nervous. So once he leaves, she talks to her brother, and this is where we hear the full truth. She talks to him, and this is when we hear, she says, look. She understands what he's doing. She appreciates it, but she just doesn't feel safe. She's like, okay, so if we're going to be up close, then that means we're going to be far away from the exits. And if we're far away from the exits, that also means we're going to be surrounded by everyone. If we're borderline in the center of everything. Her brother said, look, you're looking at it all wrong. He's putting you in the center of things where the cameras are, where the rich people with money are, who aren't going to.
Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back.
Go and act too much up like a fool. At least not shooting. There may be yelling, there may be other things, but at least not the shooting. And where all the security is, where all the money is, you'll be good. Don't worry about that. And she says, that's why I need you here, because always my sounding board. And he was just saying how he's proud of her for at least being open to doing that. It's a huge step compared to where she was. And it's nice that she has her brother there supporting her. And even though physically she may be supporting him, mentally he's supporting her. So they're a great team. And it was nice. It was nice to see. It was nice. Now Jacquay, because he's I guess one of the brand ambassadors of Sean John, or a part of this Sean John campaign. Excuse me. He's throwing out shirts to a crowd filled with extras for the show, and then we see Sin is there. Safari comes, but Safari isn't his happy-go-lucky self. And Nia Lee's there, and everyone's asking, well, what's the problem? Safari says, we talked to Cayenne on a separate occasion, and Cayenne told us that you said that you thought that my robbery incident was actually an insurance scam. And Jacquay's response was like, how are you going to listen to someone who does not like me? Why would you listen to her and what she's saying instead of listen to me? And part of me felt the same way, because it's like, of course she's going to go and say something negative about me because we're not in a good place, or we didn't leave off in a good place, because Cayenne is saying that we later find out that she said that Jacquay cheated on Cayenne the same night as her birthday. He was really great to her at her birthday party, but then went to go meet up with another girl after the party. I said, yeah, sounds like that stuff. I mean, I can believe that. Men have definitely done that move before. Oh, make sure it's good at home, and then once it's good at home, tiptoe right out. Why am I saying it like that? Anyway, not me. I didn't say that. What? No, seriously, not me. But I know a couple. Anyway. Jacquay's upset because he's upset. Why would you even think? He doesn't say no. He just says, why would you even think that I would say something like that? I don't know. Maybe because maybe he did it. We don't know you like that. But it's supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, right? it's two sides. Johnathan has a sit-down meeting with Juju, and it doesn't go too well. It doesn't go too well because they're first initially talking calmly, and they're both kind of apologizing, and Juju says, I had to hear it from someone who I just had an argument with, who apologized to me that you were saying some stuff about me in the meeting again with other people, and that's the problem. Why are you talking about me to other people instead of just talking to me? And he apologizes for that. But the issue at hand is Johnathan is still very upset. He's very upset at Juju because he feels like, Juju, you went into it's still about the podcast. It's not a radio show, it's a podcast. It's still about the podcast where Juju went and continued on with meetings and Johnathan wasn't there, and I guess they just moved forward without him. And he's upset about that. He's hurt about that. He feels taken advantage of. He feels used. And Juju keeps trying to instill in him, hey, it's not what you think. It's not just that simple wrap it up in a bow type of situation. You have to understand that you weren't there. And she was saying she wasn't secretive. She wasn't doing it behind his back to take something away from him. She was just taking the meetings to take the meetings. He was never really truly cut out of anything. But he still feels a certain way about that. And he just doesn't like that she won't acknowledge his feelings about that. And then he starts, cursing. And she said, I'm not Anais. I'm not that friend to go and curse and raise your voice. That's not what I do. So if that's what you're going to do, if that's the energy that you're on, we're going to go. And as in when we were going to go, I meant that she's going to go. And she did leave. And I just felt like, Johnathan, sometimes I feel like he wants to be mad just to be mad. I understand the podcast thing, that's valid, but sometimes I feel like, Johnathan, do you actually trust anyone? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you don't trust anyone, so that's why it's so easy for you to feel like, oh, this person did this intentionally to me. Oh, this person did this intentionally to me. But it's still very immature. Now we have Mano. Mano is in the car, in the whip with his girl, Maggie, and she finds out he changed itineraries. He was going to take her to the Danny Garcia show, but instead, we're going to go to the venue where you were shot. And we're going to go inside. And she was having a moment in the car, and she was thinking about it, because he said, your life's never going to move forward unless you're able to do this. And so then she was willing to get out of the car. But then she called her brother. She called her brother because she needed a moment. She just needed a soundboard. She just needed to woo-saw, calming force. And then she was able to go in. She was still crying, but she was able to go in because she did want to do it. It was just going to be hard. So I'm glad that he was there to kind of go and nudge her. Everyone in their lives needs someone who nudges them. Because a lot of the times, everyone gets complacent at some point. So she goes in, and she just looks so dazed and out of it because it's like, I wasn't ready for all this. But they go into an area of the venue where she never got a chance to be in, and it was empty. So there was no one there. He made sure of that. And so then she's just looking at, oh, okay, I remember. It was like this. It was like that. And he was saying, yeah, this was the pandemonium. This is, I guess, where the person shot up the place. This is where the bullet. Then they went upstairs. They had to remodel upstairs. So she was like, okay, it's different in here, but I remember it just like it was yesterday. And she appreciates it. She appreciates him. She was still upset. She was still upset because she was caught off guard. But she appreciates him nudging her in the right direction and, guiding her through this because she needed to do it. And I said, oh, this is really decent. I said, look at this show changing. Look at this show changing. As soon as I said that, as soon as the previews for next week comes along, Mariah Lynn, I'm done. Please like, comment, subscribe. I do a video a day. Thank you. Come back.